Hello again, and welcome back to the Latex Modified Concrete Working Group's weekly briefing on high-performance latex modified concrete. Thanks for joining us. I'm Pat Martins with Bridge Preservation and Inspection Services reporting for the working group. We're continuing with our current video series on pre-pour considerations for HPLMC overlays. Last week we talked extensively about the importance of the weather and evaporation rate. Today we'll address the finishing machine setup and considerations during the pour with regard to consolidating and finishing the concrete. Make sure the finishing machine is a Bidwell or Gamaco that meets the specifications for the pour, including the proper internal vibration mechanism, and that the system is in good working order. The machine needs to be self-propelled and have both positively controlled forward and reverse motion. The finishing devices need to provide a vibrating mechanism, such as a vibrating pan to consolidate the mix, and then a rotating cylindrical drum or vibrating oscillating face screed. Vibrating frequencies on devices need to perform between 3,000 and 6,000 vibrations per minute. Basic screeding is generally not permissible. The machine needs to be set to the proper grade control, and the deck needs to be dry run for the length of the pour to ensure the correct depth of pour throughout. Be aware that hydrodemolition surface depths may be measured to the average depth of mortar line cut when specifying the overlay thickness, meaning there is actually less clear distance between the bottom of the roller and the high peak of aggregate for establishing grade control. Contractors will often attach to the bottom of the roller a board or something of a known thickness in order to assure the proper nominal clearance of overlay will be achieved during the dry run. Square up the machine so that the rollers are square to the rails that the carriage rides on. The machine needs to run perpendicular to the parapet and not on a skew. When setting up the machine rails, make sure to run them off the bridge and have the finishing machine run the entire length of the bridge, including through any short skews at the end, and completely off the bridge. Another tip is to pour your HPLMC downhill when possible, so that the very flowable LMC does not have a tendency to roll back up behind the rollers. Include a drag pan and a burlap drag behind the roller assembly to help smooth and seal off the surface. If the machine is set up properly following all the rolling and surface dragging, the deck should be adequately sealed and smooth and require very little, if any, bull floating by the finisher. If you do need to hit it with a float, use a Fresno. The curb lines will need to be hand finished along the edges where the finishing machine cannot access. Although there is a vibrating mechanism on the finishing machine, properly working hand vibrators are necessary as a minimum along the curb line areas, deck joining areas, and should also be used where deeper areas within the pour exist to consolidate those areas well ahead of the finishing machine. It is also best if the finisher has a platform off a work bridge or other means to access the curb line for finishing along the edges without physically getting into the concrete. If atmospheric conditions dictate, it may very well be necessary to apply a fogging mist. This is a technique where water is atomized and distributed to maintain the moisture level in the air before curing. The fogger should be attached to the finish machine to ensure a uniform and controlled application. Often you see fogging applied with a hand sprayer and serving as a finishing aid, which is not the intent, as that can compromise the surface quality by increasing the water content at the surface. And that will wrap up this week's topic. Join us again next week as we're going to look closer at material storage and testing of HPLMC at the job site. There are a variety of outlets for you to check out the Latex Modified Concrete Working Group, including YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Hope you have found the niche that best fits you, and subscribe, like, or follow us. You can also email us at lmcwg@bridgepreservation.net. Hey, let's continue to extend the life of our bridge decks by preserving them with HPLMC overlays. See you next time.